Welcome back to another video. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. So it is now official. Tottenham Hotspur have just announced the sacking of Nuno Espírito Santo after 10 Premier League games. The official statement reads as follows. The club can today announce that Nuno Espírito Santo and his coaching staff have been relieved of their duties. Fabio Prasci, Managing Director of Football at Tottenham, said, "I know how much Nuno and his coaching staff wanted to succeed, and I regret that we have had to take this decision. Nuno Espírito Santo is a true gentleman and will always be welcome here. We should like to thank him and his coaching staff and wish him well for the future. A further coaching update will follow in due course." I've got first-hand Darren with me. Darren, your initial thoughts on the sacking of Nuno Espírito Santo?
First of all, good morning. Lovely to see you, mate. What do I think? I mean, it was inevitable, really. I mean, it's just, you know, the clown show continues. We roll on, you know. I mean, you know, the days of sort of the mighty Spurs, I think, are long behind us, and it's such a shame, you know. I think it was a poisoned chalice. You know, he was 7th, 8th, 9th. You know, I think even you got the call, didn't you, to manage him? I think, you know, it was, you know, he was well down the list, and I mean, those first 3 wins on the bounce, you know, where we were top of the league, I mean, it sort of flattered to deceive, really. And I just think that the brand of football or the style of football that he was playing was directionless. There was no pattern. There was no formula. It just, it was woeful. And unfortunately, it just couldn't continue. It just couldn't continue. I could see no corners being turned, Chris. You know, if we had a sort of ethos, or we were like Leeds, where it was gung ho, and you know that at least you know the sort of direction and the style that they play that got them out of the Championship. But with us under Nuno, it was we were going nowhere fast, and unfortunately, it was inevitable. Seems like a nice guy, but I think this was a step too far for him.
Let's come to Lee McQueen. Lee, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Your initial thoughts on the sacking of Nuno Espírito Santo?
Well, hello everybody. Hello viewers. Chris Cannon, thanks for having me back on. The sun is shining, and it is shining today on what is something that we shouldn't, I suppose, be celebrating, but the fact that it was inevitable after a game where we had no shots on target in the entire 90 minutes. That's only happened once before in the Premier League in the last 8 years against Liverpool, and we got 5-0 thrashing. And guess what? A Portuguese manager at the time also got fired 2 days after that result. So rinse and repeat as it normally happens. But I've got to be honest with you. I was waiting for the breaking news, big yellow ticker at the bottom of your screen, and we've got it. And so now hopefully we can galvanise these players and move forward with front foot football. That is massively important to me. We have the players in the squad, not well beaters. I'm not saying everybody's a well beater, but we've got the players in the squad to be able to go and have a go at teams. You know, look at Brighton against Liverpool the other day. Look at Brentford against Chelsea when they played them a few weeks ago. We have better players than what them respective clubs that I've just mentioned has. And we have Kane, world-class number 9, Heung-min Son, world-class forward. We should be going on the front foot. To have no shots on target is absolutely disgraceful. And I'm afraid that has cost Nuno Espírito Santo his job as Tottenham Hotspur football manager.
Can I just say, 8 minutes ago, Fabrizio Romano tweeted, Tottenham are now pushing to convince Antonio Conte as the new manager. And literally in the last 2 seconds, Fabrizio on board of to convince Conte as new manager to replace Nuno. The progressing right now with Antonio Conte's camp, asking an important plan for the next transfer window and long-term contract. Fabio Prasci is on it. Ian, let's come to you. And Crackers, good morning to you. We'll come to you in a second. Ian, good morning. What are your initial thoughts on the sacking of Nuno? The correct decision for you?
I'm telling you, it was shocking. It was a bad appointment in the first place, wasn't it? Let's be honest. The trouble is you can't pick a 7th choice manager. We're actually a bad team than that, ultimately, aren't we? You know
Ian, you're sounding a little bit like a Dalek. If you could go out and then come back in, we'll get your thoughts in a second.
Yeah, okay.
Crackers, let's come to you. Surprising for you or not?
No, not at all surprising. To be honest, it was inevitable, and I think it all started with the Arsenal performance and result, and the way we lined up, and it all culminated with Lucas going off on Saturday, and the crowd just letting the board know exactly what they thought of it. Kind of feel sorry for Nuno a little bit, but then not because it was him making these tactical decisions, which just seemed bizarre. So the crowd let him know what they thought of that and him, and then they started to let Daniel Levy know what they thought of him as well. So, and I mean, the moment Daniel starts to feel some heat like that, he has to act. He has to act, and he should have acted, and they have. But going forward now, Chris, he's gone. It was just when, not if. Who's coming in? What's the interim plan? And what's the long-term plan? But again, there just never seems to be a plan, does there? This is the problem. And like I said on social media this morning, Ryan Mason, he's a lovely, lovely guy. I see him do Legends event with Mickey Hazard over in Enfield 2 or 3 years ago. And smashing guy, proper Tottenham fan. I mean, real dyed-in-the-wall Tottenham lad. But he's just... He's not an interim manager. He's not even an interim manager. He's just not ready for it yet. I'm not saying he won't ever be, but he's just not ready. Now, people have also been saying, yes, that's an upgrade on Nuno, and it probably will be, because I was told yesterday that Nuno completely lost the dressing room. It had gone. I'll tell you that 100% fact. They weren't playing for him. They didn't like him. So Mason will be an upgrade on Nuno, but it's one of these things now of like, well, having an hand chopped off is better than having an arm chopped off, but you're still having a hand chopped off. I worry about the plan, Chris. This is the problem, because we all know that it's going to be Ryan Mason coming in now, and I do worry.
That is it, Crackers, isn't it? We've been here before. Some months ago, we appointed Nuno after, 70 days without a manager. Now, we've been here before. Jose Mourinho got the sack 6 days before a cup final. We appointed Ryan Mason as an interim. Do we go down that route again? Because the excitement level is coming out again from Fabrizio Romano, stating that Tottenham are again in talks with Antonio Conte. Darren, let's come to you on this point. Do you think that there's going to be any change? Do you think that Tottenham can get this deal with Conte over the line this time?
Well, I mean, fundamentally, if they do get it over the line and he comes to Spurs, will it be more false promises, Chris? Because when we signed Jose, we had arguably the best manager in the history of the game. Been there, seen it, done it, got the T-shirt. And we all know how that ended up. So, I mean, it's... there's fundamental things wrong in our club, and the other thing is we're like a poison chalice. Who wants to come and work for Levy if he's not going to put his hands in his pockets and guarantee us, transfer windows where we go and we're the first to buy top players, not looking for sort of down the back of the sofa bargain bucket Poundland players, at the end of the season, because he doesn't want to spend. So fundamentally, this is a massive news, clearly, but I can't sort of go, oh, wow, this is great, this is fantastic for Tottenham, because, you can see someone like Conte coming in and, hopefully it'll all change and for the better. But, I mean, unless the whole ethos of the club changes, we're going to be where we are. I mean, when Josie came in, I was genuinely excited. I thought, you don't appoint a world-class winner like Jose without him setting his stall out and saying, right, I want X, I want Y, I want Z, I want players, and then it just ended up going down the toilet. So all I can say is, no matter who he brings in, there's got to be a fundamental rethink, because, none of us want to hear the terms, rebuild, transitional season. Come on now. We're Tottenham. We can't carry on like this.
Darren, but we will carry on like this. We've had 20 years of it.
Conte is not coming to this football
No, he's
club.
not coming. He's not coming. It's
Do
been
not
20
think-
years of jam tomorrow.
chance.
It's jam tomorrow,
chance.
jam tomorrow. It's not
I know.
changing, Lee. It's not changing, Darren. It's not changing, Chris. This will not change.
Antonio
This is
Conte
us.
is not coming to this football club. He is not coming to this football club. He turned us down. He turned us down in the summer, and the key reason, happy Halloween. The key reason he turned us down in the summer is because some of the key demands that he wanted, he didn't get. They wouldn't even allow him to have some of his backroom staff for crying out loud. There is no way that he is going to be coming to this football club. And if he does, and if he does, if I'm wrong, and let's hope I am, because he's a world-class manager, if he comes to this football club, it will mean that he has got in writing, clause after clause, that we're going to go and spend 200, 300 million in January. And we ain't going to do it. It's not going to happen. So, let's park the Conte stuff. It's very exciting. Park the Conte stuff. For me, we need to go and get a manager that's going to look after his football club on the front foot. That is so why it's so important. We've had dross for the last 2.5 years. We need to have a manager that's going to come in and play to the strengths of Harry Kane, to whom for all Jose's failings and falterings, at least he got an absolute massive tune out of both of them. They both had their best Premier League seasons last year. So we need to bring in somebody that is going to galvanise the squad and get them playing on the front foot. And I'm sorry, I just cannot see that being Antonio Conte. I can't see him coming to the football club. It's another manager that's managed at Chelsea that has been fired and coming to Tottenham, and with all the demands, I just can't see it happening, Chris.
Yeah. Darren, can you do me a favour? Could you just put your mic on mute for a second? We're just going to come to Ricky and Gary to get their initial thoughts on Nuno. Ricky, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, mate.
Breaking news, Nuno Espírito Santo has been sacked as Tottenham Hotspur boss. What are your thoughts?
You know what, boys? It just had to happen. It had to happen. The Chelsea game, the Gooner game was horrendous. That was damning in itself. And I remember saying that to you when we was at Mora. When we saw that West Ham game, no shots on target. When we saw that Man United game, no shots on target for the 90 minutes. This was beyond doubt now. It went beyond doubt. And he had to go, bro. And we know that there's more problems. We know that the manager is not just the only problem in the club. But if you're after an artist to paint you a picture, you don't go to the painters and decorators. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need somebody who knows how to paint a picture. Now, with this whole Conte talk, firstly, I don't believe it. Firstly, I do not believe the whole Conte talk. Secondly, I don't think he's the right fit for us. I think if he does come in, it's a radical change of everything. I mean, which could be a good thing, but it would be a radical change of everything that we're after as Spurs fans and as the club. For me, I've always said, bro, if you're not going to go get Poch back, then go get Ten Hag, because that guy knows how to play football 18 different ways with a youth squad and developing and bringing out the best from the squad that he has. And that's what we need. We need somebody who knows how to play on the front foot, who doesn't play pragmatic football, who knows how to, who's got like A, B, and C plans for the squad that we have. And most fundamentally, Chris, we've got to give this manager the tools to do the job that we're asking him to do. There's no point in bringing in somebody and asking him to do, a top four in a trophy without any tools, bro. Without any tools. We know we haven't had a second striker for I don't know how long. All right, we brought in Vinicius last season on loan, but then what did we do this season? So there's loads of problems, but this had to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought we was on a cheap manager, somebody that was a caretaker manager until the end of the season, and then we was going to go for Poch again. That was my theory, but like it's so damning. Yesterday I heard about the Christian Gross stat, and it is damning. He had to go, and it's not Nuno's fault. I've got to say this as well. It's not Nuno's fault. We knew what brand of football he played at Wolves. Supposedly Paratici went in there and kind of gave the kind of Valencia breakdown to kind of go, he can play attacking football, but we never saw it. We never saw it, bro. Those first 3 games, I thought he was building solidity. He was building the defense so that we can push forward. But after game after game, those 4 London derbies, Every game has been terrible, bro. And do you know what? Saturday, watching Man United, I was emotionless. I sat there and I knew what was going to happen from the beginning. I was so sunken. I was so defeated, bro. I watched the whole game like this. Every time we had a break, I didn't get excited. I didn't jump up. There was nothing in me that said we was going to take a shot or score. Do you know what I mean? And after that game, we just looked like Titanic Hotspur FC, bruv. That's all we looked like just sinking. Now, we might have to go through a lot of bad times before it gets better, but we need a painter. We need an artist that knows what picture he's painting, and we can get behind him. If we can see somebody with a plan, we'll get behind him, bro. We don't mind dark times. We've been there before with Tottenham. We've done it. But we need somebody that knows what he's doing and that can come in and do the damn job that we're after. Poor old Nuno was a triangle peg in a round hole. It was never going to work. Sorry, Crackers. What's going on, mate?
Yes, I'm good, mate. I hope you are well too. It's interesting that you make quite a lot of building and refurbishment analogies there, because this Enoch, and you know how much I love an analogy, Chris, and everybody.
Here he goes.
Shepherd's pies. But no, you're right. You're talking about these building analogies. Now, Enoch have gone to build this stadium, and it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. But how many times do you think Daniel Levy or Donna Cullen went down to Jewson's and said, "Oh, hello, mate, give us, like 15 Conte boards." Funny, they're called Conte boards, isn't it? And, stacks of bricks and, 8 yards of cement. And they didn't. They brought somebody in to build that stadium because that's not their area of expertise. They wanted to do it and they went, right, okay, let's get a building manager project. Let's get a project manager in.
Right.
Let's get a team in. Let's get the experts in that know what to do. And we'll hand the money over to them and they'll build us this stadium. And now they've done that with the stadium, okay, and they've done a great job. So go and get the experts that can build you a team, a squad, an ethic, a direction, and go and build a team that's fit to play in that magnificent stadium, but hand it over to an expert, because it's not Daniel and it's not Donna. This board does not understand football. They just don't understand it. Now, maybe Paratici is the start of that. I don't know. But it looks like they're micro-managing and meddling all the time in football decisions. Don't. Just write the checks. Just write the checks and let somebody have a go at it. And you have a look at their KPIs every 6-8 weeks, how things are going. They handed that stadium over to experts to build. Do the same with the football, Daniel. Please, I beg you. Stay out of it. Just smile and write the checks.
Let's come to Gary. Gary, now midway through that second half against Manchester United, of course, when the fans are singing, you don't know what you're doing. Surely there, at that point, I thought there's no coming back from that.
No, my thoughts, mate. Listen, just very quickly, Chris, I've got about 3-4 minutes. I'm going to jump off, then I'll jump back on because I'm juggling work. But I'll say one thing: the feeling around on this show and every show now will be, it's a bit of excitement. Yes, we're probably not going to get Conte. Yes, Nuno wasn't the right man for the job. Yes, Ryan Mason might come in temporary, but enough was enough. We could not go on anymore. Chris, I've been watching your show since day one. And when I watched you yesterday, you almost looked as angry and as down as me, mate. You would give.
Can I just say that there is now breaking news with Fabrizio Romano. He has literally just tweeted 30 seconds ago, and it says Antonio Conte is ready to accept Tottenham Hotspur proposal. Talks underway and understood now to be final stages. Salary and long-term contract discussed, but he seems convinced to say yes. Negotiations to continue in the next few hours in order to complete the agreement.
Well, do you know what? I didn't want to think it was true, but I've been seeing nothing but that the last 24 hours. But again, what you see on social media, you take with a pinch of salt. But at the end of the day, time around, he didn't give him what he wanted. He wanted to bring 7 staff, whatever else. He didn't want to do it. He went for the 10th option, which was Nuno. That's backfired. Like all the lads said, Crackers, all the boys, nothing against Nuno. I'm sure he's a lovely fella. Meet him down the pub on a Sunday afternoon, have a roast dinner with him, chat away. He seems a lovely bloke. But Chris, as well as you know as me, you need a manager there that's going to go mental at the players, the linesmen, the referee decisions. And he just did that. He done nothing. You and me went to Amsterdam, mate, and what did he do the whole game? Like that. He's a mixture of him and Ben Davies put in together. There's nothing. You can't have a manager like that. And I don't care if Ryan Mason comes in temporary. Something had to change, and it had to change now. And just look at us on this show, right? The last few weeks have been bad. And yes, we all lived through the 90s, most of us, and we know how bad it can be. But it was at rock bottom, Chris. And when you're turning around, Chris, on your show saying, I've never ever said I want a manager out, but I think now's the time. That says it all, mate. You know how I was in Amsterdam, mate. As far as I was concerned, I'd wash my hands with Tottenham. I needed a break from them for a few weeks because the amount of time and effort you spend, Chris, the amount of money I've spent, it's just not good enough. And I think the fact Nuno's gone now, it's just a change. We need a change. If we get Conte in, amazing. But even if we don't, we just need a change. It couldn't go on any longer, mate. And that was the bottom line. You know what I mean?
Lee, let's come to you. At the start of the stream, you said that we're not going to get Antonio Conte. You put it in the last word on Spurs group this morning as well. Do you know what? I thought the same as you, Lee. I thought we've been here before. But Fabrizio Romano is now stating that Antonio Conte's people are now in touch with the club and is at final stages.
Let's say Conte is almost agreed.
Yeah, final stages until they offer him like £1 million a year and a packet of apples or something. This fellow is world class. He's the current champion of Serie A. This is going to be some serious investment from the football club, not only to get him and pay his wages, but also from a playing staff. I cannot. I want to be so wrong here, Chris. I absolutely want to be so wrong because if we manage to get Antonio Conte to come to our football club, it could be a massive changing point that we need. It could be a sliding doors moment. I'm fed up with hoping. I'm fed up with trying to be optimistic like you, Chris, and be positive about Tottenham when every time we get let down, like as Ricky just said, every time we all knew it was going to happen at Manchester United. Go on the front foot and attack them. They've just been battered 5-0 by Liverpool. Guess what? No, didn't even have a shot on target. Just time and time again, as Darren said earlier, getting let down by the football club. So I don't want to get my hopes up about Antonio Conte coming. But make no bones about it. If he comes, it's massive for Tottenham Hotspur. He might not be the right man again. He might be Jose 2.0 or Nuno 2.0 or Jose 3.0. Only time will tell. But he is a winner. We've had a serial winner before. How did that work? We need somebody that's going to come in and really put a rocket, forgive me, but a rocket up these players and say, this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. Are you with me? Yes or no? And move forward as a football club. And believe you me, if Antonio Conte now, because it's breaking and all that from Fabrizio, and we know how well connected Fabrizio is, and it doesn't happen, we are again going to look fools, and again we're going to be let down by the football club, and that's why I'm at breaking point as well, Chris. Do you know what I mean? Like, we need to have some stability and to make sure that we're going to be laughed upon if he doesn't come and sign now. We're going to be laughed upon. He has to be given what he wants, and if he does, then it might be very, very good news for us fans, because there's no way, in my opinion, Antonio Conte comes. But if he does come, it will be with guarantees that he's going to get X, Y, and Z. And that can only be a positive thing, can't it, lads and listeners and viewers?
Lee, with a little bit of fairness to the club, okay, they're not saying Antonio Conte. Right, so I mean, this is journalist speculation.
No,
that's fair. I try and be as fair to Enoch and the club as possible. It's not them saying. So I mean, if he doesn't come, you can't go and beat the club up over him not coming in, because there's no official link. Fabrizio, yeah, sure, he is well connected. There's a lot of journos saying, oh, Conte's talking, but this could be them just looking to raise their own profile, get some clicks in, get some media, stir up some interest. So you can't really beat the club up over that if he doesn't come, because it's not them. There's plenty of and then that allows you to clearly go at them over the things that they have got wrong. If you start hitting them with things that's just nothing to do with them, then what you can point your finger at with them stays clear. You don't fog it with all this speculation. So let's just keep it clear of what they are getting wrong. And and what's just speculation, because they do need highlighting, Chris and everybody. They do need serving up, and show him what they've got wrong in this past 20 years. They really do. And if you keep that clear of all the nonsense, then they've got nowhere to hide.
Do you know what
Josh,
I've got to say, boys? On Conte, right? Oh, sorry, Chris. Sorry, mate.
No, I was going to say, Josh, I'll come to you in a second. Ricky, I wanted to ask you, surely this appointment now is so important for the direction of our football club. And I said it all summer. You know, the next manager that Tottenham have, it is so important for the direction that we are going back in the right direction. Because 2 years ago, I know I sound like a broken record now, Champions League final, then to Europa League football under Mourinho, then to Europa Conference League football now. We've got to go back in the right direction. And the reason why I said that I didn't feel that Nuno was the right man is because I didn't really see any positives. And like you guys have said, when you don't have a shot on target in 90 minutes of football at home, in that second half, when the crowd, your home crowd, 10 Premier League games in, say you don't know what you're doing, I just didn't think that there was any chance back for Nuno. But surely this next appointment, Ricky, has to be the right one. It has to be a manager that is going to take us forward.
Absolutely, because they're running out of chances, the ball there, mate. And we are, like I said, Titanic FC, bro. We are sinking faster than a stone in quicksand, bro. So this is so important. The one thing that we haven't had for a long time, maybe Mourinho, but the one thing we haven't had for a long time is ruthlessness. Okay. We like, I speak to Costa, you speak to Costa. We are emotionally attached to some of these players and somebody, you know, our club and our team. We are emotionally attached to them, but we need somebody ruthless. If you look at Chelsea and how they got rid of Frank Lampard and brought in Tuchel, and then how Chelsea's season dramatically changed, bro, like dramatic upturn. So if you're bringing in Conte, right? If you're going to bring him in, he is definitely going to be ruthless. You know what I mean? He is definitely going to be like, I don't care about any player's emotions. If you're not doing what I'm asking you to do, then sit on the sidelines. I don't care. I want somebody else. And he is a ruthless manager. So if the rumors are true, which I don't think they are, I still don't think they are. But if the rumors are true, then he could be he could have a positive effect on our club going forward. You know, so it is extremely important. The decision that they make right now. They dilly-dallied in the summer. They spoke to 101 managers. They gave 100 of them the job and then took it away lastminute.com. And then they gave it to Nuno. Like I say, triangle peg in a round hole, bruv. It was never going to work. He was on a hide into nothing. Do you know what I mean? So it is extremely important, as you say, the next manager to take this club and these players forward, you know, to inspire these players, to give them something else to think about, to help them, you know, learn new positions, learn new attacking formations, learn how to take a corner and a damn free kick. You know what I mean? Like learn these things. How have we not been able to take a corner or a free kick for 3 or 4 seasons? What is that about? What is that about? Do you know what I mean? So it's extremely important. Go on, mate. Sorry.
John, let's come to you. Your initial thoughts on the sacking of Nuno Espírito Santo, and Fabrizio Romano in the last couple of minutes are stating that Tottenham are now at final stages with Antonio Conte.
Yeah, well, I totally agree with everything that Ricky just said. I thought he just banged the nail right on the head. But yeah, Nuno going, he was a nice guy, Nuno, but at the end of the day, football's a results-based game and we weren't getting the results. And obviously the game against United turned very toxic. The fans actually let Daniel Levy and everyone in the crowd let the board what they kind of expressed their thoughts, didn't they, when they were saying you don't know what you're doing. When Lucas Moura came off, that feels like a pinnacle moment. It's almost like the substitution of Lucas Moura has got him sacked. And I felt that when I was obviously there with you, Chris, in the stadium, and yeah, I just felt that was the end. That was the end of Nuno, and it was always coming. The results were just absolutely abysmal in recent weeks. Keep losing by more than 2 or 3 goals. It's just been an absolute joke, to be honest. And a change has been needed. Very, very needed. And from what I've been reading and listening to you chaps, it does look like Antonio Conte is our number 1 link at the moment. I think that would be an absolutely fantastic change. Obviously, the club hasn't announced it, so it's not confirmed. As Richard said, you can't always believe these journalists, but But Fabrizio is pretty reliable, and I'm just reading now Sky Sports News. It's breaking news. Antonio Conte will be in London today to hold talks with Tottenham, which seems like a positive step forward. And as Ricky said, if you look at Chelsea, when they got rid of Frank Lampard and brought in Thomas Tuchel, there was a massive change in their season. If we bring in Conte now, obviously it's not confirmed, but if we do bring in Conte now, we could change our season. Obviously, we've got the January transfer window coming up. If ENIC actually invest, I know it's obviously we haven't done very well in the past with investment, but if they actually do, because if you think about it, the Tottenham Hotspur brand has hit rock bottom right now. The fans have turned against Daniel Levy and actually been vocal in the stadium. That is bad PR for Daniel Levy. That's terrible PR. Really, really bad. So we've hit rock bottom. The only thing they can do now is actually act and start spending the money, bring in a great manager like Conte, start signing some decent players. Levy needs to get his hands off the football decisions, as Richard said. Let Paratici get involved with the football decisions, and hopefully we can move forward. And I think I've read as well, Conte wants like 3 or 4 players in January. You can see what positions we need to solidify. We need an attacking midfielder. We need another centre-back. Give him the funds, please, Daniel Levy, and we can move forward and hopefully get back into the Champions League, because that's where we belong as a great club that we are.
Darren, let's come to you. Bob Spur TV writes here about the big shift of ambition. If Antonio Conte was to come to Spurs, that really is a big shift of ambition, isn't it? And this is exactly what a lot of us Tottenham fans want. We want to see the club, directed back in the right direction.
There's got to be I think that's the word, Chris. It's direction. We've been rudderless, and without wishing to repeat, Nuno, there was no game plan, there was no ethos, there was no way of playing. And if he is going to come in, then he needs to be given all the funds, all the investment. Mind you, we had all this this is the only thing that worries me. We had all this with Jose. We had a world-class manager in Jose. They sacked him before a cup final. We brought in Gareth Bale. He sat on the bench for 6 months and didn't bloody do anything. Yeah. You need a manager who's gonna write down in his contract, if I don't get X, Y, and Z, I'm not coming. And it's got to be as cut and dry as that. I need an investment. I need 3 or 4 players in these positions. If you can't guarantee me that, I ain't coming. And that's what I want. I want balls out, just ruthlessness now. We can't carry on what we're doing. We can't, when you have Jose Mourinho and you sack him and the football's turgid, that's a worry. When you ask every up-and-coming manager, do you want to join our club? And they turn it down and you're left with Nuno, and you sack him because he's got no direction. That's worrying. So if you are going to get Conte in, you just say, do you know what? We're at the end of our tether here. Tell us what you need and we'll give it to you. And I think, if we can get, if we can get the results that Tuchel has been getting at Chelsea, even, and I don't want to say the A word, but you look what Arteta's doing at Arsenal now. Since they got hammered 5-0 by Man City, they're on the rise. They're scoring goals and they're beating teams. They've got an ethos and a way of playing. That's what we need at Tottenham. And if we don't get that, then, as been said, we're just going to carry on this slide.
Crackers, let's come to you. Antonio Conte, if he got the job at Spurs, is he the right man?
Chris, for me, I've been so burnt by the last 20 years. One, they've actually got to bring him in, and that's something that will surprise me. That's a complete change of direction for them, in my opinion. It looks like that they might finally be waking up. I don't know. It just feels like it's more new furniture on the deck of the Titanic, doesn't it? Until there's other big fundamental changes at this club, nobody works. Nobody works at this club long term. So, as I said, fundamental changes, then brilliant. If they're going to change all their policies on incomings and outgoings, because they're going to have to start taking some losses on players to get them off the wages. This is what Arsenal have done. They've done that with Ozil. You know, this is something Daniel's not done. He's waiting for top dollar to get people out the door that clearly not good enough or don't want to be there. So they're going to have to get a smacked ass on a few of the outgoings, and they're going to have to pay for some incomings as well. So there's got to be this huge fundamental shift in the whole business model of ENIC running Tottenham Hotspur for him to work. If we do that, if we get Conte in, and if we do have this huge seismic change in our business model, then there's absolutely no reason why it can't work. He is a top manager. Tottenham is a top club. It just is. Face facts. I know other fans of other clubs will tell you it's not, but it is. It's still a huge club. Have you seen the amount of fans that go up and down? Chris, you see them more than anyone, up and down the country. Planefuls of people going to godforsaken places overseas, like, you know, that not even Ryanair don't fly to. Yeah, there's hundreds, thousands that turn up there. This is a huge club, Chris. So there's absolutely no reason why it can't work. But that seismic change has to be there. Let's see. 20 years tells me otherwise. But I tell you what, I'd love to be here in 18 months' time going, wow, how wrong was I? Apologies, Daniel Levy. Apologies, Donna Cullen. You got this spot on. Because I'll be a big enough man to come on and say, yeah, you know what? Took you 20 years, but you got it right. Let's see.
Lee, I want to come to you. Now, all this talk about Antonio Conte, if he was appointed as a Spurs boss, is he the right man? You know, I was excited when Jose Mourinho was appointed. Let me first just say I was very, very disappointed. I was heartbroken when Pochettino got the sack. But when Mourinho come in, you know, both Ricky Sachs and I both sat in the pub with Jason and turned around and said, you know, we're super excited about it because he's a serial winner. He's been there, done it. He's won all the trophies. Antonio Conte is very similar in his record. You know, he's been there, done it, got the T-shirt, won the trophies. Will he get what he needs at Spurs if he was appointed?
Okay, so I think the key difference for me with Antonio Conte is that he is the current champion of Serie A. Like, he's the current holder, if you like. You know, he's the manager, the last manager to win Serie A, and he's got that on his CV, if you like. Whereas Jose hadn't been as current, you could probably level that at him. Although I thought he was a world-class manager and one of the best that's ever lived, to be fair. The pragmatic approach of Jose versus how Conte sets up his teams. I remember, I think they got absolutely drubbed by Arsenal 3-0, and then they changed to a back three in the season, is it 16-17 season, when we went up against Chelsea for that title. Yes, Spurs fans, yes, we did have a title challenge. Can you believe that? Wasn't that long ago. And he changed to a back three, and they were absolutely outstanding. I think they went 15 games on the trot, 15 wins in the Premier League. I think it was Dele Alli that scored two with Christian Eriksen's two brilliant balls in that ended that run. But they played some really good football, some attacking football. I think they outscored us. Jamie from the Daily Hotspur tells us in the WhatsApp group, I think they outscored us by one goal during that season as well. So they've scored a lot of goals. So is he the right man? I think it would be a massive statement from the club, because I agree with everything everyone said, and especially what you're saying, Crackers, as well, about if you bag Conte, you have to give him what he wants, and we know he is a 200-300 million pound manager to buy transfer with. I mean, you could argue that they've put it into Milan. Yes, they won a title, but you could argue they've put them into financial disarray on the basis of where they have, and they've had to go and sell Lukaku, their big man up front. To there's talks about us signing the Lorento as well from there. Do you know what I mean? So Martinez. So and to cash in to get some money back. So I'm not sure whether the two fit. You know, when Jose Mourinho came to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, every person that knows football said, not sure that's a fit. Jose and Daniel Levy, or Jose and Tottenham, not quite sure. I think I'm similar with Conte. The main difference being, though, is that he is the current champion of Serie A, and therefore, for me, it may be slightly different. But it's only going to be different. It's only going to be different if
he is given what he needs, and Antonio Conte needs money for transfers. And talking on here, just in the stream, we're talking about going out and buying bigger, better players. Who wants to come to Tottenham? Who wants to come to Tottenham? Europa Conference League. We're travelling around, us fans. You fans go everywhere, as Cracker said. But we are in that competition. Yes, we want with aspirations to get back into the top four, but it's going to be very, very tough. You've got Newcastle now that are owned by a 32 billion pound country essentially, and they're going to be knocking on the door as well over the next kind of 12 months or so. It's very, very tough. City, Liverpool, United, always going to be spending. So it's very, very tough. If Antonio Conte comes into his football club, doesn't coach, doesn't drive and coach the players to be better than they can be, then I think he'll be gone in 18 months.
Well, I think that's the thing, Lee. Antonio Conte does seem to get the best out of players. He's been very complimentary about Harry Kane as well. Always said he wants to work with Harry Kane. If he did come in, I believe that he would get the better, the best out of some of these players that we haven't seen.
Yeah, Chris, just quickly, I'll just finish off because I have to drop off as well, lads and viewers. I'm really sorry, this is amazing. But just quickly on that, Harry Kane waking up this morning and seeing Antonio Conte's name linked and hopefully signing, that is absolutely massive. If you watch the next few games with him and the players that we've got there now, that they weren't playing for Nuno Espírito Santo, and forgive me, Nuno, I wish you all the best. I have to say that. But they weren't playing for him, but they will be playing for Antonio Conte. There's no doubt about that. So the new manager bounce may well be, but I think it could be a bigger bounce than just a new manager bounce.
Yeah. Well, Lee, thanks so much for joining us. Have a good day.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody.
Speak to you soon. Josh, let's come to you. How does the club's ambition change from appointing someone like Nuno Espírito Santo to now being in talks with Antonio Conte again? Because, of course, as we all know, Fabrizio Romano said that Tottenham were in talks with Antonio Conte in the summer. Antonio Conte was demanding too much. Tottenham didn't want to give it to him. So what has changed now? Why would they appoint Antonio Conte now and suddenly just give him whatever he wants? Is it the fact that it's gone wrong under Nuno and the fact that they have gone through so many managers and think, well, what next? We've got to go for the top man. We've got to go for our number one target.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think you're totally right there, Chris. And also what I said earlier, the brand's hitting rock bottom. They're going to start making less money. There's bad PR for Daniel Levy. We've lost four games with more than 3 goals. We're starting to fall down the table. All these reasons. Nuno lost the dressing room. It was very clear that Nuno's lost the dressing room. The players clearly weren't playing for the manager. And then you've got to think about the mentality of the players. It must be very difficult for those lads in the change room to go from a huge kind of manager like Jose Mourinho to someone who's just an ex-Wolves manager in Nuno. You've got a huge personality in Jose, someone who's won it all in football. And although it didn't go right at Tottenham, it did go wrong. And he was obviously sacked right before that final. But it must be difficult for them to change from such a manager with a lot of prestige to someone like Nuno. Nuno's never won something before. It's a huge step down. And I think it was totally right what Lee said. Where now Harry Kane probably felt like himself like it was a huge step down. But now Harry Kane waking up this morning, reading these links with Antonio Conte, a manager who's just won Serie A, who was fantastic at Chelsea. Even though they are rivals, you have to admit that he was a fantastic manager. They won the league in 16-17. I remember that very, very clearly. And he's a manager that's still in his prime. He's not past it like Jose. It's a huge appointment if we can get this over the line. And obviously, your question was, why is this happening now? And I think this is Levy. Really, this is a final dice from Daniel Levy. It doesn't feel right, as Richard said. It doesn't feel right. He doesn't even think it's going to happen still because it's very un-Tottenham-like. It's not a very Tottenham appointment because obviously Nuno was the cheap option. Nuno was the cheap option in the summer. He was the easy option. It took us how many days? I'm not sure the exact number, but it took us weeks and weeks, months to then sign Nuno in the summer after sacking Jose. And now we change. Now it's like Daniel Levy's actually finally realised that he's made a mistake and gone, oh, actually, I've got to bring in a very good manager instead of bringing in the cheap option. So as I said before, hopefully this will go over the line. I obviously respect Antonio Conte. He's a great manager with what he did in Inter Milan as well. He unlocked Lukaku, and hopefully he can do the same for Harry Kane this season, because he seems like he's not having a very good season so far, and I'm sure he'll change it because he's a great player. But I'll just read, just to finish, Fabrizio Romano's just put out another tweet. It says, Antonio Conte is expected in London soon to complete talks on final details with Tottenham. Antonio is more than tempted to accept the Tottenham job. He has already worked with Paratici at Juventus years ago. So Fabrizio seems to think that that talks are progressing. So hopefully this can go over the line.
Do you think it's going to, Josh?
I'm not sure. I totally agree with what Richard said. We all know what this could just be a smoke screen. It could be Ryan Mason, because we all know that Antonio Conte was also linked with Man United.
But the only thing is, like the comment in stream says here, I'm almost 100% certain that this is due to the stadium turning toxic on Saturday. Yeah. There are so many unhappy fans right now. It has to change. Something has to change. Something good needs to be injected into this club to get everybody, going again and getting that excitement again. Because, from going to see Spurs on Saturday, losing against Manchester United, not even having a shot on target, give me that exciting football again. When the board come out and said, we want a manager to be playing freestyle attacking football, it is far from it. We need some kind of injection of positivity, and we need something. Ricky, do you think it's going to happen? Antonio Conte?
Mate, I mean, with Tottenham, bruv, all we can do is wait and see. The good things about it is, like Josh just said there, him and Paratici have worked together before. So if he goes to Paratici and says, like, look, I need A, B, and C, Paratici will go to work as long as he's got the funds to be back. There's a fundamental change now in the side, in the club. If we go with him, there's a fundamental side that has changed. And it's going to be a ruthless streak. Now, with Conte, yes, he likes to spend money, but you got to remember, he turned Ashley Young, Victor Moses, Alexis Sanchez into champions in Syria. Inter Milan were way off titles for many a season before he turned up, and he got them going. So it's not like he needs bundles of money. He just needs the right players in the right system, and with the right attitude, so that we can move forward, bro. So that we can push forward. The one thing that really irritates me, and it's sad, but the thing that really irritates me is that with Nuno talking about pride, talking about hard work, talking about there is to do, we never saw none of it. We never saw an ounce of it. So forget the PR talk. The one video that comes to mind is the Conte interview with Thierry Henry, where he talks about killing the player. He talks about, if they're not on side, I'll kill them. Like, I'll drag them off, I'll kill them, I'll put them to the sword. Maybe that's what we need right now, bro, because the problems are not just within in our club and in our squad. We're looking at the Gooners who are on the rise. We're looking at the Hammers who are on the rise and have got a plan and have got a direction. Not only that, they're just about to be bought out and get new investment as well. So we've seen Leicester, great investment, really well-run club. They're on the rise. You know what I mean? Brighton, look at Brighton. They're above and beyond, going above and beyond the players within their squad, and they're performing. Look at what they done against Liverpool the other day. Do you know what I mean? So we need, if Conte comes in, the first thing he's going to do, bruv, is raise the levels of the playing squad that we have already. Not only is he going to need additions, he is, but the first thing he's going to do, because he's going to demand it, he's not going to ask for it. He's going to demand it. Like I say, I don't know if he's the right fit. I think if you're going to go Italian manager, I would have gone Mancini, because of like how he kind of put a new defensive and attacking style on Italy during the Euros. And I really I was kind of blown away by what he was doing with the squad that he had and with that Italian side. But like I say, bro, like my the ones that I've always wanted has been Ten Hag from Ajax, and it's been Poch back, because the thing is with Poch, he rose the bar, bro. We had a mediocre squad when he turned up. not only did he get rid of the dead wood and those that didn't want to run and train and do double sessions, but he improved the levels of play from the squad that we had already. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's one positive that I can say that Conte would bring if he was to sign. That's one thing that he would bring to Tottenham, is that he would demand that levels increase. Because if not, then you're on your way out. And he wouldn't care either. He wouldn't care whether your name was Dele Alli, Ndombele, Harry Kane. I don't think he would care. Another thing is that we've got this Serie link with Paratici and some of the signings that we've brought in. So I think he's going to be, I think Conte would be dynamite for Romero. I think he would be dynamite for, if they went three at the back and they put Reguilon and Emerson as flying wing backs, I think that could work dynamite. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, bro, like we needed something to change drastically, because my dad gave me a call last night, Chris. It might have been last night, it might have been the night before, but it was straight after your video. And he watched you and he was like, you know what? It upset me, because he was feeling it, but he goes, it upset me seeing Chris being so down, so despondent, so emotional, that like how far our team had sunk. And that's how we all felt. So, you know what? Okay, the crowd made themselves known and we've acted. That is the first good thing that they have done. Let's carry on with this change. Let's carry on with this evolution. Let's carry on and do something, because the season ain't done. We're 10 games in. We're still in 4 competitions. We can do something with this season. You know, when you're at rock bottom, Lee McCrean was talking about rock bottom on Last Word last night. And when you're at rock bottom, bro, in life, in anything, it's never really rock bottom. It's an opportunity to shed the things that have been holding you back and that have been weighing on you for I don't know how long. It's time for you to look at them, recognize them, and go, you know what? I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that, because I need to climb back up this mountain and quick. Do you know what I mean? So let's do it. Let's get it done, and let's keep moving forward.
Crackers, let's come to you. One positive I see with the sacking this morning of Nuno is the fact that we are still in all 4 competitions. We're only 5 points away from the top 4. And when I say that, I don't mean that we're going to finish in the top 4, because I don't think we have the squad at the moment to do so. But probably, you know, a fair point and a good point for the club is this was the right timing if you were going to make the change, because if we made this change in 2 or 3 months' time, it might have been out of reach to get a good league finish. And another manager coming in, they might take the cups completely differently. They might have a different attitude about the Europa Conference League, the Carabao Cup. They might take them a little bit more seriously, where Nuno has been put in a completely different 11. I know that's a whole new debate. But the timing-wise for you, is it perfect timing? And do you see the Ferrari coming rather than keep getting in these flat-out old Ford Fiestas?
Well, they had to do it, Chris, didn't they? And finally, they have acted a little bit more decisively than they normally do. But again, that's not a standalone issue. As well as getting things done decisively, which is like part A, you do have to have part B and part C. You have to have your ducks in a row. So you've got to have that replacement lined up. This is what happened last time when we went 70 odd days without a manager coming in. So, I mean, yesterday they better have been.
That's why it surprised me, Crackers, that it took that long. And I remember being on the Last Word on Spurs podcast that evening, and you know, when Mourinho got the sack 6 days before a cup final, I felt that Tottenham had a plan. And I was very surprised that Ryan Mason was interim boss until the end of the season, particularly when you think back in November 2019, you know, we just lost the Champions League final in June. But in the November, Spurs done that so quickly and under the radar as well. Not many people knew about the Jose Mourinho appointment. You know, for people that went to bed, had an early night, you know, and then woke up, Pochettino was gone late evening. Jose Mourinho was appointed very, very early morning. You know, that must have been one hell of a shock for a lot of people. But how can a deal like that be done so quickly? And then this takes, you know, the Nuno Espírito Santo appointment took 70 days. Could this be, you know, offloading Nuno today, Antonio Conte this afternoon or tomorrow morning? Could it be holding up the Spurs shirt? Could it be done that quick?
Well, if they've been speaking to him behind the scenes for more than just yesterday, I'm sure that the decision wasn't taken just straight after that Man United game. It must have been something, we could all see it coming. It had all been brewing. So you would hope that they have been speaking to somebody, you know, to have lined up and to be coming in ASAP. So in the next 24, 48 hours is going to tell us massively what direction Tottenham Hotspur's going in, because they've either A, got somebody like Conte or a permanent manager lined up, or B, it's Ryan Mason again. And we're in the same boat. We're in this same boat of like just going, oh, hit the panic button. Right, now what? So it's you know, it's a matter of time now, Chris. We can only see by Wednesday we're going to know what direction this club is heading in now, whether there has been this big change in direction. But you know, like you're speaking with Ricky and Josh, the financial side of this, I can't see why it's not apparent to them that this is actually costing them more money in the long run. It's crazy. You can equate even big football business down to just home domestic issues. Now, when my lads were little, they were allowed to wear sort of black trainers with the Velcro straps on, to school. So we used to go down to a well-known stack it, I sell them cheap sports shop that used to be involved with Newcastle United, and go down there, and then they'd have some nice Nike trainers, well made, well put together, fit for purpose, 40 quid a pair. And then next to them, they'd have a lesser brand. I won't name them, but you know they are. And they'd be 15 quid. So you go, I'll tell you what, I'll get a couple of pairs of those 15 quid ones instead of a couple of pairs for the 40 quid ones. Put them on the kids' feet, off they go to school. 2 weeks later, their toes are hanging out at the end of them. They're done. They're finished. So you go, oh, okay, let me pop back down to this well-known sports shop. I'll go and get another pair. 2 weeks later, they're done. They're hanging out of them again. Right? So go back again. Now I've done 45 quid on trainers, right? In the space of 6 months. So in the end, I turned around and I went, not having this anymore. I went and bought them 2 pair of 40 quid Nike trainers. Year and a half I got out of them. They outgrew them before the toes were hanging out of them. So I ended up saving money. How many pairs of 15 quid, let's name them, Lonsdale trainers, would I have gone through before like, I suddenly went, let me buy a couple of pairs of Nikes here. Go and get a Nike pair of trainers this time, Tottenham. Stop spending out on Lonsdale, because over the next 5 years, it's going to work out a lot cheaper. And you do that with players as well. Get your recruitment right. Stop spending 100 million on a couple of midfielders that ain't fit for purpose. Go and buy one at 80 that probably does the job of 3 men. And it's just simple, basic economics. It's the same at home as it is in a football club. Nike trainers, please, Spurs. Stop wasting your money on Lonsdale.
Crackers, if I could ask you, though, if you could make the appointment, who would you like as the next Tottenham manager?
Oh, man. That's so difficult. Listen, Conte's a great manager, but he comes at a great cost. He's going to want 150 million pounds for January. He's going to want money to go and do what he wants to do.
We want that as well.
Yeah, we want that as well. Does the board want that? If they're prepared to stump that up, go and get Conte. If they're not, then go out and try and go and get like a Potter in. Graham Potter, that plays some decent football, or a Scott Parker, and bring in like, you know, a bit of a project to try and get some youth like coming through. So cut your cloth accordingly. Don't keep going out and getting managers that are not going to serve us up the football that we want to watch. Because if I'm going to watch Spurs get beat 3-0 by Man United, at least let it be with some young, exciting talent that we're trying to shape and play some football, rather than what we got served up on Saturday. So either go balls out with a load of money and go and get a Conte, or if you're going to carry on being who you are, Go and get another Poch. Poch done it. He done that on pretty much a budget and got chicken soup out of chicken crap. So go and get Potter. Potter does that. Parker does that. So you've either got to get in one boat or the other, but not these Nuno boats. It's just that they don't work. They don't work. So like it all depends. It all depends on what the club wants to do. What I want the club to do is say, yes, we are going to throw a few quid at this, and yes, Conte is going to come in, and yes, we are going to change our business model and do that. If not, then just go and make better, brighter, savvier appointments, because Brighton's doing it, Leicester's doing it. So clubs like West Ham are doing it now. Go and get a manager that will get your best out of these lesser players that you're paying for. I don't think money's a problem at the club, Chris, to be honest. It's the way it's spent. It's just it's been awful, you know, and that sort of takes me back to the trainers analogy. Just go and be either stupid and throw a load of money at, or brighter and smarter. But whatever it is at the moment, it's just not working.
Well, after today's stream, Lonsdale certainly won't be sponsoring this channel.
You're better than Lonsdale, Chris. You're better than you're Nike. You're up there.
And after talking to Ramon Vega, neither will Pony. Josh, let's come to you. If after all this talk about Antonio Conte, and let's face it, we have been here before, and I've got everything crossed that this Antonio Conte deal does go through, because I'd be absolutely delighted with the appointment. But if it doesn't, and suddenly Tottenham Hotspur put out an announcement either this afternoon or tomorrow morning saying Ryan Mason will take interim charge until the end of the season, how will you feel?
It's just another letdown, isn't it? That would just be a massive letdown, and it'd just be so typical of us. It seems like every single time we're nearly getting to something that's going to improve our club. A bit like a couple of years ago when we nearly signed Dybala. I hope this isn't like that again. I hope we can get Antonio Conte across the line, because he is a great manager, and I think we could actually start, as Richard said, start building some kind of project with the right financials. Obviously, he's going to want a lot of money, and we do, as you said yourself, Chris, we do need the investment as a club on the pitch. Like I said earlier, we need another centre back to play alongside Romero, who's shown quality, but you need another one to play alongside him. We need an attacking midfielder who can actually create for Son and Kane, because the players we've got at the moment, like as Giovanni Lo Celso showed against Man United, we just haven't got the creativity in midfield. If Conte can bring those players in and play in a system, in a proper system, which Nuno just couldn't get going at all. We were just playing as a group of individuals under Nuno. If we can play as a team and with a system under Conte, I think we can move forward as a football club and start rising up the table and hopefully get back into the Champions League, which I'm sure Conte will want to do. That will be one of his big aims, to get back into the Champions League, or at least the Europa League. That's like the minimum. I think that if we get Conte, we've got to get back into either Europa League or the Champions League. We shouldn't be finishing below them. But Chris, let me ask you, who do you think needs to come in January if we get Conte, or if it's another manager, who do you think needs to come in to plug the holes at the moment?
It's the same old answers, Josh. The same old answers that everyone, I ask so many questions to guests like you on this show, and people ask me, and we talk about the same old things again and again. We haven't got a striker. Carlos Vinicius, Gareth Bale went back, 26 goals they scored last season. Those positions are missing. The Christian Eriksen we have never replaced. That midfielder getting the team ticking. We're missing all of his assists. I think that there are problems all over where they do need addressing. And I think it was you, Josh, that said it earlier about being ruthless. We all know as Tottenham fans, Arsenal, Chelsea are our biggest rivals. Now, Chelsea, for me, do it so well. And that's what pains me to see it and say it, that they do it so well. If a player is still playing relatively well for them, they think, actually, they didn't play as well as last year. It's time to go. So they offload players at the right time. They seem to always do it at the right time. Recruitment at the right time. And we do need a lot of money invested. But having said that, I do think that some of the Premier League games that we have played this season, we have more than enough quality on that pitch to show passion, show energy and win these games. You know, certainly in those London derbies, you know, Arsenal, that first half Arsenal, I was absolutely gutted. And, you know, slowly throughout this season, and as I said on a video yesterday that I put out, in all the years I've supported Spurs, I have never, ever said that I wanted a manager gone. But to see the decline throughout this season, and we're only 10 Premier League games in, I felt that a change had to be made, because I feel that, you know, if Crackers, you or Ricky were manager on Saturday against Manchester United, I feel that we would have had a shot on target. That must come from the manager, you know, that negative play. And when I see Burnley, it took 65 minutes before we broke them down. 45 minutes in that second half not to have a shot on target against West Ham. It was worrying. And all of Nuno's comments as well, stating that after the Burnley game, he said it was a very good game. He said that Burnley were a very good team. And I just, you know, I know some managers try to defend their team and not say too much, but come on, you cannot tell fans that have travelled to Burnley and back, you know, spent best part of 8-10 hours in the car there and back, that we've seen a very good game. It was far from it. It really, you know, I'm frustrated, Josh. I really am. And, you know, Ricky, I've had so many comments, like you said about your dad said about seeing me quite down and upset. You know, I was in the pub at the weekend before the Man United game, and the amount of people that come up and said, you know, you used to really sit on the fence, and now you really give a little bit more opinion, and you really, you know, tell it how it is. And I've just had enough. You know, I talk about trophies. I know you all probably laugh about this. I talk about trophies all the time. I just want to see success at my club, and I just feel that at one point, at one stage, something seriously has to change, where we have that eureka moment where it's like, wow, we have got a fantastic manager. Wow, you know, the managing director has brought in these players, these world superstars. Because, you know, when I talk about world superstars, for all three of you, name me a player that you were so excited about signing, a real world superstar, and we were like, that wow moment. Because the last time I felt that was Jurgen Klinsmann back in '94. That's a long time ago. Rick, who's excited you?
Do you know what, bro? I got excited for Ndombele when we got him. I thought the season before he dominated in the French league, and not only there, but in the Champions League. And I just looked at this player, and I was like, you know what? If we can get him, he could be dynamite. Do you know what I mean? He could change the whole game for us, and he could change our whole side. But we got him in, and it just hasn't worked as well as we wanted it to. Now, I mean, even that, like the last couple of games that he's been playing, we relied on him. We gave him some responsibility. We said, you're the creative spark, like go out there and do something. And then you drop him against Man United. For Lo Celso, who unfortunately I still don't know where he plays and where his best position is, or what he does for us as yet. But you know, surely, then I've got to look at
surely if Antonio Conte or a similar manager came in, this is exactly what I mean about, you know, being ruthless. You either offload these players or you get them playing in the correct position. You get them playing to their maximum ability, because there are too many players for me so far this season. Like Harry Kane, you know, I love Harry Kane, but he looks lost. His body language is just, you know, and that is really sad to see the way that he is playing at the moment. Ndombele, you know, we seem to see these glimpses, but surely somebody has to come in and get these players playing every single week. And all of us say it every week on this channel about Lo Celso. You know, what is his best position? How can you be paying, you know, vast amounts of money for these players? And as Cracker said about the recruitment there, you pay vast amounts of money for these players, and we don't know their best position. We don't know what they do, and we don't know whether even they're going to be in the starting 11. Are they good enough? They don't even take opportunities in the Europa Conference League. And I feel like someone like Conte would come in and give everybody a kick up the backside and say, well, if you're not going to play, go.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But like having Mourinho and then Nuno as your coaches as well, on the flip side of things, like, I don't know what these players are being asked to do. Do you know what I mean? So maybe someone like Lo Celso, you know, has been asked to do one job for when he got signed by Poch, another job. You know, he wasn't really like Mourinho didn't really believe in Lo Celso until, I don't know, 10 games in, and then he was like, oh, I see what he brings to the side, I like him, but then he got injured and it's been stop-start, etc., etc. So, you know, and then Nuno's come in and who knows what he's asked him to do? Who knows? Who knows? So, but you're right. This is what I'm saying with Conte. Is that's one of the biggest positives that I can bring to the table if he signs for us, is that he will be ruthless. He will kill them, you know, and put them out there if they're not doing the job that's being asked to do. The bare minimum, bruv, that we should be asking for, the very bare minimum, is a bit of pride about your own performance and the 10 others that are with you on that field. Do you know what I mean? We just want them to care. We want them to fight. That's the very bare minimum. We want them to care and to fight, bruv. But we've seen time in and time again throughout the season, those 4 London derbies, you know, against Man United, they were great. They looked energetic for 10 minutes, but then, you know, the bottle went and they got scared and they kept, you know, pulling back, and it was just, again, like, it was, as I was sitting at home, resigned to the defeat before the game started. It felt like after 10 minutes, that side was resigned to defeat, and we can't have that. We can't have that. You know what I mean? Like, how many teams have we seen come back from 3-0 down, come back from 2-0 down? Because what? Because they pushed and they cared, and they was like, no, you know what? Let's have a bit of pride about us. Let's have a bit of kind of, you know, professionalism about us. Let's go out there and show them what we can do. We have not done that. We have not done that. So that's what, these are the things that Conte would bring in and change, because it's exactly what we need. You know, that's exactly what we need, bro. So again, I mean, it's really, really tough. It's really, really tough. But Nuno, unfortunately, he had to go, because when you see performances like that, when you see them giving up, when you see them kind of not backing the manager, not believing in what he's asking him to do, it's done, mate. It's done. So this is a pivotal point right now for us to move forward, and we have to take it, because it's not a rebuild right now, Chris. It's not a rebuild. It's not a let's scrap it and start again. This is a rescue mission now. This is get the life jackets out, get the lifeboat out. Let's pay as much as we can pay to get us, you know what I mean, like back to shore, because it's a rescue mission now, because this is how far we have fallen. And it smacked us all in the face, and it smacked that board in the face. So I'll give them credit for acting, you know, as soon as they have done. But it's time to get it right now, for not only the brand and for the future, but for themselves as well. You know, it's time to get it right now. We need these players to want to wear the shirt, that want to, like, pull the badge, kiss the badge. I ain't seen nobody kiss the badge in ages. Do you know what I mean? Like, where is it gone? Where is it gone? Let's go. Let's go. Because we're not a terrible side, bro. Like, I know, not to most other football fans, we might not be a big side, like Crackers was saying, but we are. So, but it's time to start showing it. It's no point in buying those Lonsdale trainers. It's time to start showing it. Forget Nike. Go out and get some Gucci. Do you know what I mean? Like, Love it. Deal with it, mate.
Bit of Gucci. Love a bit of Gucci, Ricky. Yeah. Crackers, let's come to you. Now, anyone that does come in to this job, you know, I can't believe I'm going to say this. If they come in and win a trophy, they'd go down as a legend. You know, I just think that it is such a good opportunity for someone to come into this club and turn it around, put a trophy in the cabinet, and everybody will be singing their name for the rest of their life.
Absolutely. And, you know, I keep seeing people, I'm sure it was with yourself, Chris, the other night, where people were saying, oh, who's going to want to take this job? It's a poison chalice. But it's also a chance for a manager to come in and go, here you go, there's your pot, have that. Yeah. And it's like, you just instantly go into godlike legend status at this club. Any cup, if any manager comes in and puts a trophy on the table, straight away, boom, they're there. They go to there. So this is what I was saying. You know, there is problems with this squad, but there's also a decent first 11 now as well that are just currently underperforming really, really badly, because, like I said, they had stopped playing for Nuno, and I got text that from somebody and they told me he's lost the dressing room. So there is a lot more there in that current squad that could quite easily go on to win this Conference League or the League Cup. FA Cup, maybe not so. You know, I think that's taken a little bit more seriously. But definitely the League Cup, definitely the Europa Conference League. Go out and win one of those two. Bang, you're a legend. You're going to get given so much credit and so much time. So I really do think that, you know, somebody, if they can come in and get a tune out of this squad, will do. We'll just go straight to legend status. I mean, look at Antonio Conte. He's even talked his head into growing back its hair. So if he can do that, I mean, I'm sure he can talk Delhi into start performing and start playing. So, you know, yes, somebody will fancy this job. They must do with these players because they know there's a lot more in the tank there.
Josh, what do you think will happen in the game against Vitesse in the Europa Conference League on Thursday? Do you think that Tottenham will appoint a manager this quickly? Will Ryan Mason be in charge for that game? And do you think that if Antonio Conte does come in, that could be a sellout game? That could probably be the record attendance in the competition.
Yeah, it probably would be, to be honest. I mean, if we can get Conte over the line in the next couple of days, probably by Wednesday, then because sometimes there's a little discrepancy when a manager comes in, they can't always manage the next game. But yeah, hopefully we can get him over the line by Wednesday. Or even I've read I think it was Di Marzio was saying that they were trying to get Conte over the line either this evening or tomorrow. To become the manager for the Vitesse game, which, as you said, it could be a sellout. Or I think in the Conference League they only sell the bottom two tiers of the stadium, so maybe only the bottom two tiers will fill up at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But yeah, if we can get Conte over the line just before the Everton game at the weekend, I think that would be absolutely huge. I think we could actually have like a manager bounce if we can get Conte in. But if Ryan Mason comes in, I think the woes will just continue. I don't think anything will change because it's going from another manager in Nuno to Ryan Mason, he's another manager that hasn't got that credibility and isn't respected by the dressing room. Again, someone like Conte, he will show no respect to any player. He shows respect to results on the pitch and performances on the pitch. If Harry Kane isn't performing on the pitch, he'll drop him. He'll drop him. He won't show any mercy. You see those videos. I've watched videos of Conte online. Even the passion that he shows on the pitch is what we need. I feel like Nuno's been, although I like him as a bloke and I think he's very kind, he's a gentleman, he's a kind man, but that's not going to do it for me at the end of the day. I've seen videos of Conte and obviously what it was like at Chelsea. He shows so much passion on the touchline. He literally, physically, he's so passionate. He like grabs his staff and starts shouting at people. And obviously the comments, I'm not sure who it was, but he said he was going to kill someone. Like, he's that passionate. And that's what we need at the end of the day at this football club. It feels like I think it was Ricky. It feels like it's just HMS Titanic, Tottenham Hotspur. Like, no one could steer the ship. It felt like it was just a sinking ship. And without that passion, without the passion starts with the manager. And that's how you get all the players playing for the badge. And we missed that for quite a long time. We've missed that since the Poch era. And hopefully Antonio Conte can come in, rejuvenate the passion at Tottenham Hotspur. And that can then filter down to the fans as well. Because I think if you think about it, we've had to go through some really tough times as fans. Obviously last year we lost that final against Man City in the Carabao Cup. We didn't even get into the Europa League. We've lost Poch. We've lost Jose Mourinho. We haven't won anything. We lost the Champions League final. We've been through thick and thin for this football club. And hopefully Antonio Conte can actually be the final roll of the dice and we can actually become the football club that we want Tottenham Hotspur to be, up there challenging, up there trying to get in these finals, as you said, in the League Cup and in the FA Cup, and trying to challenge for these trophies instead of just going, oh, it's happened again. It's happened again. Tottenham being knocked out or we haven't won.
Well, final question for you all, and thank you so much for your time this morning. It was all a bit, last minute because of the announcement. Crackers, let's start with you. Final question for you all. Who will be the next Tottenham Hotspur boss?
Well, do you know, just before I answer that, every day at Tottenham always seems to finish with the EastEnders doof, 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 which I thought might resonate with Ricky. It does, doesn't it? Every day.
It's true.
It's like, true. You know, like Nuno's just been told by Peggy, and he get out of my pub, and he's gone. Now he's gone. Nuno leaving in the taxi from the square. They've always got money for a black taxi, ain't they? A proper London taxi. It's oh man, Chris, I cannot answer that. I fear it will be Ryan Mason interim. I think it might be Ryan Mason interim, and then Lord knows. I hope it's Antonio Conte, and with Daniel Levy's wallet that he's dropped on the high road. He's got it. He's had his card out of his back pocket. He's done him. He's put the old card reader in the machine. He skimmed his card. He's got it, and he's coming in, and he's going to siphon off a few quid from him. So I hope for Conte. I expect less. So let's see from there.
Ricky, do you know, Cracker says that about EastEnders. The amount of times that you're on and in the stream here, the comments, the amount of times people say, "Is that guy off EastEnders?" How's got him there?
Can't take me nowhere, bruv. Can't take me nowhere. I glow in the dark. What can I do? Yeah,
but
you know what, Cracker? But they put.
I've been with Ricky a few weeks ago.
They put me in a boot instead of the black cab.
He still gets all these beautiful women coming up to him. Can I have a picture? Can I have a picture? It's...
Rick, I know. I feel your pain, mate. I get it all the time. You know. But I've got no need for the Spurs gloves living here in Lanzarote. That's the only thing. I don't need a pair of Spurs woolly gloves.
I've still got them here, bruv. I've still got them here. Don't you worry. They're coming out this winter. Don't you worry.
Rick, who will be the next Spurs boss?
I reckon it'll probably be Mason for this week, and then hopefully the new man will be there watching the side against Everton on the weekend. For me, I would love it. I would go mental for Poch to come back. I doubt that's going to happen right at this point. Or go all out for Ten Hag, mate. Go all out for Ten Hag. But again, if Conte's the man, I will back him, and I'll go, you know what? Ruthless season has begun, and at least we can get excited about it. At least we can get behind him. At least we can go, you know what? The club have actually decided that we're going in a different direction now for the good of the club. And I would be happy, mate. But there's no point in putting another square peg in a round hole. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to bring Conte in, then you've got to put it out that we're changing our philosophy. We're changing our attitude towards how we play and how we move forward. And us fans will get behind that. So when we get slagged off by whoever, other sides and other fans and Sky Sports News or whoever, at least we can back that manager and go, no, we're on our way. Do you know what I mean? But what could we have backed for Nuno? There was nothing. I'm a positive guy, bruv. You know it. But I was scratching for positivity. I was searching. You know, I was looking at every little hint of a positive to pull out for shows like this. But it was tough. It was tough. When I was last on against West Ham, bro, I had no words. I literally had no words. I remember saying it in a group chat. I was just like, boys, I don't know what I'm going to say tonight, because there was nothing that we could see. At least if it's Conte, and it's a bit stop-starty and it's going to take a minute, at least I can get behind it. Do you know what I mean? At least I can go, all right, and cool. The club have had enough of mediocrity. We're gonna get a manager that is like full, 100% a winner and is out there to turn this side into a winning side. I can get behind that. But I can't get behind, the next manager being Dora the Explorer and bloody well having no map to find swiper, no swiping. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I can't get behind any guy. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of done with the Portuguese managers. That's no disrespect to those that are Portuguese, but every Portuguese manager that we've had has not been great. Has not been great at all. So I'm kind of done on that side. I'm half done on kind of getting ex-Chelsea managers, but Conte's a different story. So, bro, to answer your question, I don't know, but I think it'll be Mason this week, and the new guy will be sitting there in the stands come Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whenever we're playing.
Josh, what about you?
Well, knowing Daniel Levy, we'll probably end up with Steve Bruce. But hopefully,
come on, man.
Long-style trainers. Long-style trainers.
Man.
Hopefully not. Hopefully we end up with Antonio Conte. I think that'll be a great signing for manager. I'd love to see Antonio Conte in the dugout, regardless of him being ex-Chelsea. As Ricky said, yeah, it's a bit annoying. We get the kind of sloppy seconds from Chelsea with Jose and now Conte. But at the end of the day, he went to Inter Milan and he's done very well there. And I think he could be a good shout for Spurs. I think he really could, and hopefully, I really hope it can go across the line. Hopefully, it won't fall at the last hurdle as it usually does for us Tottenham fans, because we could really do with this injection of positivity. We could really do with it. But what about you, Chris? Who do you think?
I actually want Conte. I said this in the summer, and certainly now, I think that this club does need to go back in the right direction. We certainly do need to progress. We certainly need to think about trophies because we haven't had one in such a long time. But I just love the way, and as you guys have said it, the passion from Antonio Conte. I absolutely love that from a manager. I love to see a manager shouting and screaming because it means that he cares. It means that he is very passionate in these games. And the fact that I don't want to slag Nuno off, he didn't really get it in the London derbies, I feel. And I think that Antonio Conte will get the London derbies. He will be passionate in every single game. And it's about winning and bringing that winning mentality, getting the best out of players. And I think it's about time that we didn't go on the cheap. We go all out and buy, the best that we can get. Because I think that all of us Tottenham Hotspur fans deserve the best, and we deserve success, we deserve glory, and we deserve good times. And it's just been so overdue. But whoever we do get in, they've got to progress the club and move the club in the right direction. Crackers, Josh and Ricky, I can't thank you enough for all of your time today. No doubt there'll be an announcement in a couple of hours, so I'll see you all. I'll see all you guys then.
Come on, you later.
Come on, you Spurs. Come on.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good day. Come on, you Spurs.
Adios, chicos. Ciao.